I'm going to do a little video here on one method to straighten cattle panels. Cattle panels are a real handy resource on the small farm. We use them to build little gates and to confine animals. Most of our paddock or our stall and other control up here, that's all made out of cattle panels. And that gate's a cattle panel, and that gate there's a cattle panel, and lots of cattle panels here. And they came with the farm, most of them. We bought some of them, but they're really useful. But over time, they tend to get bent and beat up. You can see how that one there is bent up off the ground and twisted up, and once they get that way, they're really hard to straighten because they're so springy. And I'm sure you hit them with brush hogs, and you hit them with mowers, and you hit them with tractors, and annoyed animals run into them, and you get all this crud, like that big bend right there. And they're so springy that they're really hard to straighten. And I've come up with one system that does it. You may have others, and if you do, use them by all means, because I'm not trying to tell anybody this is the be-all and end-all. This is one system. If you haven't figured one out, this one might help you. What you do is you use your weight and leverage. I use a cotton horse rope. Any kind of rope will do. You turn your panel so that you need to pull up to straighten the bend you're looking at. Clip your rope on that bend. I don't do stuff like this with bare hands because I'm old and my hands hurt. Put your weight on the panel and pull up. And that way you can defeat the springiness. So that one little bend is out of there. You see I got another bend here, so I'm going to go the other direction. I'm going to put my weight on the panel and pull up. And using the strength of your whole torso like that gives you plenty of strength to address the bends. It's hard to tell how much progress you're making, and I have to turn them over and look at them. If you look right over here, you can see there's a high place right here, and that corner goes down. And you just deal with it one bent spot at a time. Put my foot on the high place, pull up. That's all it takes. Now in this case, it's also got a high place here. Whoops. And put my foot on the high place and pull up. This process isn't instantaneous, and it's not going to result in a brand new panel. So I got a big arc here. This goes up, 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 up. So I'm going to flip that panel over. Now, that same arc goes down, 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 down. And I'm just going to work each bent rod individually. It doesn't take a whole lot of pull, really, because instead of fighting with the springiness, you're able to concentrate the force of your body on just the bent piece you want. You can see it's still twisting. It takes a long time to get a whole panel halfway straightened out, but they're kind of expensive, and they're quite valuable to have, and they're a major pain in the neck to work with once they get twisted up, because when you try to move them, they twist and kink. Now you see I got let's see how well you can see what I got here. I got that corner right there up off the ground. That corner there is down. It's down about there, but that corner's way up. The only way you can apply your force and get action is you have to raise. So I'm going to flip the panel back over. Now you could look at it as this corner here is still up, but I'm looking at it as that corner there is down. It's actually all bent, but you pick a spot. That made a little progress. I've got it twisted. This whole side's still up. I'm still arcing down here, 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 there, there. If those are the spots I worked, I didn't work them far enough. My low place on this set of arcs is right here on this rod. And so that's where I need to put my foot, is on that rod, and grab it here. And then I'll probably have to do another bend. What I think I'm going to do first is flip it over again and try to lift this corner up to get a broadly more or less straight looking panel. It's a judgment call whether, you know, which part you pull up and which part you call down, and I'm not telling you there's only one way to do this. But I spent so many years fighting with panels and not getting the results I want that when I finally stumbled on this, I thought it was worth sharing. Okay, now that's close. Still pretty springy. All I'm going to do when I'm finished with this panel, I'm going to work right on that corner there next. All I'm going to do when I finish with this panel is hang it up for storage, because I'm taking something down and I don't have anything I need to put back up right now. But its day will come, and I'll be a lot happier if I had it straightened up now on a piddling around day. You don't have to fight with it on some day when I've got another project in mind. This one's pretty well sprung, and it's hard to make much progress on it. Burful, you're not barking at my cow, are you? Bandit, quit that! Bandit! So I got a little arc here and a reverse arc there, so I'm working on just this little one right now. The little ones are the hardest because you got the least leverage on them. This panel, this rod here is arced right there. This corner that corner right there is up. Now it's there and it's down and I can lift on it. I went too far. You'd be surprised how easy it is to overshoot. Now you see this whole panel. Hang on a minute, let me move the camera. You see the top line arcs away to our right there. I need to work on that. Okay, that's somewhat better, but not real good. This piece here is the problem. I need to try to bring this back. This is donkey manure that I'm working in case you wondered, and basically donkey manure doesn't bother me. I barely even consider it to be dirty. I think it's a major part of my life here because I work with a donkey as my power source, and it doesn't stick to my boots, it doesn't stick to my feet, it doesn't stick to my gloves. If you've seen, I've got a little video where I actually show you some donkey apples and take them apart. They're pretty harmless as a thing exists. Okay, now you see it's still twisted off that way. It's a major project. I'm not going to tell you this is real easy. I just think it's worth doing. And this panel's not going to look like a new one when I'm done. But neither is it going to drive me crazy when I try to hang it up on a post or something. It'll more or less obey. It'll more or less see, I'm going back and forth on this end. You can see it's probably stretched some. Steel does stretch when it gets bent. And that's kind of that's something you just can't, that just is. You can't make it not be. It is. If it's stretched, it's stretched. You just have to accept that amount of loss. Comes over here and goes like that. You kind of have to figure out both where your pull point is and also where your stand-on point is, because it's gonna bend around the fulcrum of your weight. So you have to be able to observe the spot. You know, basically every bend is two different places. See, when I straighten that one, I wind up aggravating this one. To make this worthwhile, you have to live a life where it's important to you to not waste anything, and where you'd rather invest time and thought than money in your resource management. We hate waste around here. One of our standard call phrases or mantras is "Thou shalt not waste." And that means if you got a bent old raggedy cattle panel, you don't throw it away and buy a new one. You straighten it. And ultimately, what you're looking at is it's not bent in one place, it's bent all over. So you have to straighten it all over. Right there, there's a couple little arcs, and I've been chasing around those. Oops, come on, back in focus. I've been chasing around those through this whole process, and I haven't got it yet. Okay, you see how sharp that one bend is right there in the very top rod, and then there's a big long arc that leads up to it. I'm going to work on that sharp bend. I'm going to flip it back, and I'm going to try to modify this long arc. The long arc is in most of the cross parts, the long bars. We'll see what we can do. Right there, that's a sharp point on that bend. That's where that's got to be my fulcrum. Here's another one right there. Okay, now I'm not going to go look through the camera. I'm hoping you can see this. From here, it arcs out towards me all the way to here, and then it arcs back the other way. So I'm going to work on that other end first. And when you do this, you don't pull real hard, because it's easy to overshoot what you're trying to attain. Once in a while you have to kind of wail on it, but a lot of the time you don't want to. Okay, now I got this big arc here. It goes from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and about here is the center of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand here and hook my rope here, put my foot there and pull, then I'm going to put my foot there and pull. Nope, I'm gonna stand here. And pull right there, and then I'm gonna go down a little farther. Okay, still got an arc right there. Question is going to become, do I want to live with it? I got a basket shape in here, right there. That needs to be brought up a little. Ah, come on, hand. My hands are pretty shot with arthritis, so I work better with tools than barehanded, but it is what it is. Let's see how the camera setting is. When your foot and your rope are close together, you have to pull a lot harder. There, you got less leverage that way. Okay. I'll try to bring this corner up and then flip it over. raise that corner the other up. I'm getting close to about all I'm going to accomplish on this panel. The more bent up they are, the harder they are to ever make right. And this one's pretty rough. But I'd say it's going to be tolerable to work with when I build something else out of it. So although I haven't shown you how to make a new panel, I never promised to. I just promised you to show you how to make one better than what you had at the moment. And I think I've accomplished that. So, and if you're patient, you can just keep going around them, nitpicking and fiddling, and you'll understand pretty good. This one's still twisted. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to fix that. If I could, it would be at an angle something like this. This is useful in observing leverage and forces too, in a way. What I'm doing here is I'm bringing this long one up in the middle. Well, you can see that I've still got a problem going that way. And I'm going to go ahead and work on it, but I suspect after half an hour of this, you're probably tired of watching. You see the general principle, and although this is a really rough panel to work it on, it's useful, and I hope you find some use in it. If you find my farm videos useful, I'd appreciate a like or a subscribe, any of those things. Thanks for coming along. Bye.